Today, we're diving into one of the greatest adventure stories ever told. It's a thrilling race against the clock, all sparked by a single, unbelievably audacious bet. This is the story of a wager that, in a very real way, shrank the entire world. And it all kicks off with this number, £20,000. Now, you have to understand, in 1872, this was an absolutely staggering fortune. We're talking millions in today's money. And all of it was put on the line for one single, seemingly impossible idea. And this was it. This was the question that started it all. In an era of brand new steamships and railways, sure, but also a world full of unknowns and incredible dangers. Could anyone at all, really make it all the way around the world in just 80 days? It sounded, well, kind of crazy.
So, how does a journey this epic even begin? Well, it doesn't start with some grand expedition plan. Nope. It starts in a stuffy London gentleman's club with a heated argument that suddenly explodes into an impossible wager.
And the man who accepts this insane challenge? Probably the very last person on Earth you would ever expect. Meet Phileas Fogg. This guy was a wealthy Londoner whose entire life was a monument to precision and punctuality. His life didn't just run like a clock, it was a clock. So just imagine the stunned silence at the prestigious Reform Club when this man, this creature of unbreakable routine, suddenly stands up and says, this. The challenge was thrown down, the wager was accepted, and just like that, the clock officially started ticking. Fogg sets off that very same evening. But this isn't just a race against time. He's got company on this journey, for better and, well, for worse. And this setup is really the heart of the whole story. On one side, you've got the wonderful Passepartout, Fogg's brand new French servant, who ironically took the job hoping for a quiet, predictable life and got the exact opposite. And on the other side, shadowing their every move, is Detective Fix. He's a Scotland Yard officer who is absolutely convinced that Fogg is a brilliant bank robber using this ridiculous wager as the perfect cover to escape England. Just look at the scale of this thing. This wasn't some vague hope. It was a razor-thin calculation of timetables stretching across a newly connected planet. London to India, across the massive Pacific to America, then that final frantic dash across the Atlantic. Every single train, every single steamship had to be caught perfectly. There was absolutely zero room for error. But of course, a carefully laid plan is one thing. The chaotic, unpredictable reality of the world, that's something else entirely. Fogg's perfectly scheduled journey was about to slam head-on into a series of wild, unbelievable events. Their first major delay happens in the jungles of India, and it's not a broken-down train that stops them. It's Fogg's own humanity. He and Passepartout risk their lives and, more importantly, their schedule to rescue a young woman named Aouda. His timetable takes a serious hit, but their small group gains a brave and loyal new friend.
And then Mother Nature decides to get in on the action. While they're crossing these enormous oceans, they get hammered by ferocious storms and typhoons that threaten to just rip their ships apart. It pushes the 19th century technology and their own courage to the absolute breaking point.
Even in America, riding on the modern marvel of the Transcontinental Railroad, disaster strikes. Their train gets attacked, Passepartout is captured, and Phileas Fogg, being who he is, proves his loyalty is worth more than his fortune. He risks everything to rescue his friend, losing precious, irreplaceable time in the process. Okay, so after facing every obstacle you can possibly imagine, they are in the final stretch. They're battered, they're exhausted, they're way behind schedule, but they've made it back across the Atlantic. The pressure is on as they race towards London for the final countdown. And here we are, the 80th day, the final deadline. Time is up. They've made it. They are back on English soil. The Reform Club is just around the corner. But just when it looks like they've actually pulled it off, Detective Fix makes his move. Convinced he's finally got his man, he arrests Fogg, stopping him at the worst possible moment. Now, Fogg is eventually cleared. Turns out the real bank robber had been caught days earlier. But by the time he's free, it's too late. The clock at the Reform Club has struck the final hour. It's over. The £20,000, his honor, it's all lost. Or was it? See, in all of their meticulous planning, in all their frantic, panicked calculations, Everyone, and I mean everyone, including the master of precision Phileas Fogg himself, had missed one tiny but world-altering detail. What if his own perception of time, his perfect internal clock that he trusted so much, wasn't actually synchronized with the clock back in London anymore? And here it is. This is the secret to the entire story. By constantly traveling eastward, Fogg was literally racing toward the sunrise. So for every degree of longitude he crossed, he gained 4 minutes. You do the math. Over 360 degrees, that adds up to exactly 24 hours. He had seen one more sunrise than everybody who stayed behind in London. He had gained a day. The mind-blowing realization comes from Passepartout, who figures it out completely by accident. They had stumbled back to London totally defeated, thinking it was Saturday, the day the wager was due. But it was only Friday. They had an entire day to spare. So, in a heart-pounding, last-second mad dash, Phileas Fogg bursts through the doors of the Reform Club with literally seconds to spare before the new correct deadline. Against all odds, he has done it. The journey is complete. The wager is won. So, what do we take away from this incredible adventure? Well, for one, it's a huge celebration of 19th century technology and this idea of a newly connected globe. It's also a powerful story about human perseverance. But really, the ultimate prize wasn't the money. Fogg set out to win a fortune, but he came back with something so much more valuable: friendship, adventure, and love. And that kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. Fogg's journey was the ultimate test of his time. So, in our world, a world where you can fly anywhere in a day and talk to anyone instantly, what's our impossible journey? What's the next great challenge that would truly test the limits of modern human ingenuity?